What in the name of Spetsnaz Santa Claus is Soviet supremacy? Would be a perfectly reasonable thing to ask.
And is precisely the question we intend to answer with this video.
Series of videos, most probably, because we have 152 mods to go through, starting with those used for character creation. To start with, we have LooksMenu, which is a more comprehensive and better formatted character creation platform that accommodates an immense number of advanced features, such as tattoos, non-vanilla preset import and export, and advanced sculpting. With this, though we haven't nearly enough time to aptly demonstrate, our extended facial sculpting, LooksMenu body tattoos, and LooksMenu customization compendium. The latter two are more important to us normies because they let you apply face and body tattoos, additional blemishes, injuries,
Adorable freckles,
and makeup. Outside uses these two mods to add a little style to his variants of the cute preset.
For obvious reasons, Caliente's beautiful body enhancer will come included in this and likely all other mod profiles created by Master Outside. The underclothes and nude forms of which are both undesirable to us for a variety of reasons. Thus, we opted for TheFriedTurkey's Kaleidoscopic Underwear Replacer, which works for the male player and female player and non-player characters. We're not really sure why, but in Outside's experience, it doesn't appear on males of the non-player variety. Works fine on his ghoulish character though, so who cares, Wake?
Weird. Returning to the Soviet side of life, we have Ponytail Hairstyles by Azar, which brings about 20 new styles very similar to vanilla to choose from. That said, Black Desert Online Hairs is the mod Outside uses most frequently. It is an off-Mexis mod though, and thus could not be included in the collection. A link is in the description.
Moving past our sultry Soviet spy, we have a mod of great import by the name of...
You forgot the name, didn't you?
Perhaps.
Should I start you up?
Start me up.
Normal Dialogue Prompts version 6.1 by Tiny Manticore is an alternate start mod.
I'm so confused.
Ignore her, I do. The mod lets you customize your starting stats, take on character traits, choose a background and starting location, and skip to the Cryolab portion of, or pass the tutorial altogether. Many of these features you won't want to use because we'll also have Level Up Menu EX and Heart Biggity Redux. If you combine the traits of Level Up Menu and Start Me Up, your character will be hugely unbalanced. I think Hot Biggity Redux is actually the one that provides the perks, but I'm not positive. You also need to not increase your starting stats. Doing so will adversely affect your skill progression. We'll talk more about that in a minute.
Let us now look at our mod configuration menu plugins, starting with Bot the Wait Anywhere. This lets you wait in-game like you would in Fallout 3 and New Vegas using the default T key or your choice of hotkey. Then there's Custom Camera. Settings are split into 6 sections: unarmed, melee, and ranged. Duplicate sliders for those 3 are included for POW armor to account for its size. The biggest mistake dumbasses make while using this is not pressing the save button in the features section after modifying their profile. Any unsaved data will reset when you die or reload the game should you not save.
It also has a convenient shoulder swapping feature with a customizable hotkey. Dynamic timescale and chime by LZ can be used to increase, or more commonly to decrease, the timescale, greatly expanding the amount of real-world time necessary for completing an in-game day. There is also a configurable chime notification that may prevent you from wasting too much time in a particular activity, like settlement building or crafting, or maybe sorting. I don't know, some people do a lot of sorting. Outside tends to set all sliders to their lowest possible values. Fall Souls is another great realism mod that prevents time from stopping when using the Pip-Boy, hacking terminals, lockpicking, that sort of thing. Each of these can be configured to suit your preference. Then there's Immersive HUD, which we use alongside Clean HUD. iHUD makes HUD elements dynamic, fading in and out depending on the values set in the MCM. It does need to be enabled in-game before taking effect, so you may as well also modify fade sliders and set the title hotkey at the same time. Surprisingly, Immersive HUD is available on Xbox, should you console peasants want a cleaner-looking game.
Be nice, sister.
No promises, but I'll try. Though there are a lot of additional functions, the last we'll be talking about is a wheel menu. This is a simple tactical menu option independent of the favorites menu. It can be activated following toggle key configuration, the slow time settings can be modified to your needs, and the menu position can be configured should you wish. We're also learning for the first time that the gamepad toggle can apparently be disabled. This will stop the menu from intruding in conversation or while using the favorites menu if you are using a controller. Alright, though there are other MCM mods to talk about, let's address the elephants in the room. The player character has become mute, no longer appears during dialogue, and the dialogue menu has changed altogether.
Really thought I was drunk again.
You don't drink.
Hence my bewilderment. The script says that silent protagonist F4SC is to blame for the suppression of player commentary. Apparently, the other silent protagonist mod wasn't working well enough for outside's liking. This mod works well with subjective cinematic dialogue camera, putting the focus solely on NPCs. Of course, because we no longer have player commentary, we must compensate with the mod extended dialogue interface. It is pretty much a must-have mod anyway, but here's what it does. With this, modders no longer need to worry about the 4 options limit. They can now have as many or as few as they please. This keeps the menu clean during commentary with only one real choice and provides the opportunity for things other than yes, no, a question, or sarcasm. New icons have also been added for questions and to indicate leaving the conversation on.
Good business. Some of you may be interested in what lighting and texture mods Outside is using, beyond those of his character. I am sure the clever among you are assuming he has a lot, but to be totally honest, he's never gotten around to that part of the mod list process. As such, Outside left the graphics largely untouched, only replacing the vanilla rock textures with those of vivid Fallout 2K rocks. Lighting is handled exclusively, as always, by the amazing and highly customizable Olympus EMB, aided by some light alignment tweaks and EMB Helper. Those 2 mods are requirements of Olympus, which isn't made very clear in the description, to my understanding. Not having them will make your game look weird.
If you've tried Olympus EMB and didn't like it, and are now looking at its luster with envious eyes, screaming your head off like a crazy person, you're in luck. Or you should be, to change the lighting settings. Outside and subsequently the rest of us use LED setting 2 currently. There are many other color presets to choose from if you want more or less saturation or darker tones.
Finally, outside of our sanctuary home, we have first-person running with hands animation, created by Mir. This is a small mod on its own that adds a touch of immersion. It begs the question, though, what kind of runner are you? Closed hand, loose, or knife style? All 3 are available if you look at the optionals.
Should I assume he's also prejudiced towards those of us who do the penguin dash?
Make a good case for it, and I'm sure he'll accommodate you. Though they aren't visible, Outside included hold to sprint and sprints that are fixed to smooth the chank sprinting startup, moving, and stopping. Everything about vanilla running is just bad.
He's also included the walk mod so often seen on the channel. It is called a better female walk. The mod is very subtle and just adds a little extra movement in the hips. You could very easily forget it is enabled at all, but it does a good job of exaggerating the tuchus.
Speaking of which, what is up with the quality of her rear?
FAP.
Excuse me.
Fit and perky presets. It's FAP for CBBE. Putty slide.
I'm taking a stand when I say we're not dwelling on this.
Okay, what will we find to review inside Vault 111, I wonder? One mod we never talk about but always use is the Ponytail Vault Seat. This is hands down the best style available, no matter how many others we find. Comparatively, the standard version was just boring. Zero flair whatsoever. Further inside, we have yet another replacer, this one being of the Russian variety. This is Russian Stimpax, which transforms stims into a more believable emergency box kit thingy with custom first-person animations and bottles. The realism of this one is within question, though. If you want a standalone version, that is also available.
Don't say things that aren't true. That mod is hidden now.
I couldn't have possibly known that, sister.
Unless you stayed on script, yeah. I'm sure some of you noticed Outside's character dodging a moment ago. That was the simple mod Simple Dodges, Sidestep Dodges, and Dodge Rolls. A plugin that livens up third-person combat through the application of a decent timed dodge system, like you might see in a Souls title. Outside was tired of getting wrecked by everything, and this mod was the boon necessary for him to occasionally survive.
Wait, what? No. Okay, yeah, no, I might. What makes the game so difficult, you might ask? Better locational damage. That's what. This mod adds new debuffs with corresponding equipment. You'll now rely heavily on painkillers to mitigate the effects of severe wounds. I don't know, stay emotional. Even after they've been stimpacted, bandaged, or otherwise treated. There is also a blood loss system that significantly increases the effectiveness of attacks that you may otherwise pay no heed to. The best example of this would be a long-range shotgun blast. Normally, that wouldn't do diddly to you. With this, though, you'll bleed with greater severity the more times you are struck. Even a single pellet could mean death.
Headshots may be the most detrimental. The new headshot system scales based on creature specifications. Humans such as you and I, without a helmet, cease living if struck by even the lowest caliber round. This makes eliminating enemies easier for sure, but makes you significantly more vulnerable as well. Super mutants, for instance, aren't felled by 5.56 anymore. They require higher caliber rounds, like the 308, to do the job.
If you combine this mod with 99% tougher death claws, they become pretty much invincible. The only way to kill them is with a landmine.
Tess, have we forgotten anything?
Yeah. Photo mode, kickable corpses, and something to do with perks.
Photo mode is a very basic mod that makes screen archery an easier, more enjoyable, and customizable endeavor. It also doesn't require any console commands, unless you want to slow the camera's movement speed, in which case you'll need to use the command SUCSM. Outside uses a value between 0.25 and 0.35 for close-up shots, and a value between 1 and 4 for landscape and large area shots. You can freely rotate the camera, set depth of field, change the timescale, and stop or start time at will. There's even a brightness slider, which makes adjustments much easier. Though we did appreciate it, this is much easier than the old FreeFly Cam mod. Our allotted commentary time is up though, so we'll continue this next week, perhaps. That side might be a little angry.
That's all we got for today. If you enjoyed the mods, endorse them. And if you enjoyed the video, check yourself into a psychiatric facility. We make new videos every Sunday.
Wait a moment. Before you go, we hope you've enjoyed your stay.
Farewells can be a time of sadness. Letting go. Difficult. So you should check out more music like what you're hearing now over on Martin's channel. He makes awesome original music that you may be familiar with from mods like Fallout New California and Fallout The Frontier. El Sai Kanguru.
Harbor lights are sparkling to the beat of my yearning heart. It's love, it's light, 'neath the China sky against the moon's soft